Good day, folks. Welcome back to Ed's Garage, and today the 2024 Tucson Preferred with Trend Package. So before we get too far into this, I'm in Canada. This is going to be similar to the SEL down in the United States, and I assume they have an SEL with some sort of a sunroof leather package or whatever. But anyway, this is the Trend Preferred with Trend package in Canada. Now, guys, I promise you that you will get something out of this video. You'll learn something about the Tucson. You'll learn something about how something works. So I am asking you very, very kindly if you could please subscribe. About 80% of my watchers, my viewers, are not subscribed. Only about 20% of them are. And I'm really, really trying to get that subscription number up. I'm only about 11,000 subscribers right now. Hoping to get to 20,000 this year. It's a new year. Happy New Year, 2024. Welcome to the channel if you've never been here before. And hopefully this video helps you out in some way. Anyway, let's get right into it. So this is basically the third trim level up in Canada. So the base model is called the Essential, then there's a Preferred, then there's the Preferred with Trend package. Now, regardless of where you are in the world, this video should be helpful because obviously there's some stuff, you know, on this vehicle that is going to be kind of universal everywhere. So let's get right into it. First off, on the front of the Trend, you can see we've got those beautiful LED daytime running lights that kind of merge into the front grille. That hasn't changed, of course. That was new for 2022, and it carries on further into 2024. So no major changes done yet. That's probably coming next year. So we have LED headlights, LED high beams, and in the front windshield, you can see we've got a little camera right here. That's for the forward autonomous emergency braking system. And this is kind of cool to see as well. There's actually the sensor there for the automatic wipers. So now for 2024 in this trim level, auto wipers. You've also got the forward facing radar right there. That's of course for the adaptive cruise control, as well as the leading vehicle departure alert system and all that stuff. It's all kind of related, the camera and the forward facing radar system. They're both kind of used in conjunction for the autonomous braking and forward collision warning and all that stuff. Anyway, on the side here we have aluminum alloy wheels. So these are Nexen Rhodian tires. They are a mud and snow tire, so they're basically an all season, not an all weather. They're 235, 65, 17. Nice to see aluminum alloy wheels. We have marker lights on the mirrors. We have blind spot monitoring in the mirrors. Door handles have the proximity entry button right there, and there's a little LED light that lights up as you approach the vehicle. A little further back here, we can see we've got our fuel door. Now this actually stays locked when the car is locked, so you can't open that up if the doors are locked, so that's kind of nice. Coming around the back side, you can see we have the the LED lights in the tail here, and this cool LED light bar all the way across. Now, one of the things I love about the Tucson is that it's got the hidden rear wiper. It's actually tucked up underneath there. So if you're comparing this to other vehicles in the market, like the RAV4 or the CR-V, you'll notice pretty much all of them have the wiper here on the window. So this is kind of nice. It's a very, very symmetrical rear end. Obviously, just the single exhaust tip on the back there. So I guess that's the only part of it that's asymmetrical, but the rest of it, nice and clean. You'll also notice we have roof rails on the top, nice black roof rails. This will accept the cross rails, and this is actually really, really strong. These don't move. And this one's also equipped with the huge panoramic sunroof, which we'll get to when we look inside the vehicle. Powering the 2024 Tucson Trend is a 2.5 liter gas direct injected 4-cylinder engine. This is the Smart Stream technology, so it does have the dual injection setup for better fuel economy. This one is putting out a 185 horsepower, 178 foot-pounds of torque. It's not a rocket ship, but it's actually pretty good on fuel for what it is. And some nice things under the hood here I'll show you. We have the quick access to the air filter, so if you want to change the air filter at home, there it is. Really, really simple to get to and to pull out. And you just close that up. Got your battery there, fuse box there, lots of room around the engine, so pretty easy for maintenance. You can see there's a little bit of covering over the sides here, which is kind of nice, so that helps to reduce a little bit of wind and road noise. And then you also have the insulation up on the hood there. The only thing I wish they had was struts to hold the hood up, but it's not a very heavy hood, and you know, they got to save costs somewhere, I guess. So yeah, good engine. And reasonable fuel efficiency, 9.1 liters per 100K on average. 10 liters in the city, 7.9 on the highway. And that's actually rated by a third party, so it's not actually Hyundai putting those numbers on the window sticker. And a lot of people tend to do better than that. It's mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission. No CVTs, no dual clutches, just a good old-fashioned gear-on-gear, 8-speed automatic, bulletproof transmission. And because it's 8 speeds, you get that nice high ratio, low ratio, and a very, very smooth shifting through the gears. Okay, so I just powered off the vehicle. You'll notice the lights are still on. There we go. They do turn off. Now, the reason that I point that out is because Hyundai does something a little bit differently than every other company. So you know how most cars now, pretty much all cars, have automatic headlights that turn on when it gets dark. Unfortunately, that doesn't include turning on daytime running lights during the day. So what I always do is I suggest, just turn your headlights to full on. That way you've got tail lights during the day. What Hyundai does differently is that even if you put the headlights on so that you have tail lights as well, when you shut the car off, everything shuts off anyway. With other brands, you still need to turn the headlights back to auto or turn them off completely. Otherwise, it'll drain your battery. So we now have the power tailgate. There it is. So you stand behind it patiently for a few seconds. It opens up automatically. Lots of room back here. So almost 1,000 liters of space. There's a lot of space back here. And some nice little features, nice touches. You do have the ability to quickly fold down just by pulling the handles. Obviously, that does go down a little bit further. That one's just hitting the back of the front seat. But there's lots of leg room in there. I'm going to show you that in a minute. Also back here, you have the 12-volt power outlet. Nice light there. And then there is, under the floor, some extra storage because this vehicle does not ship with a spare tire. Now, before you get up in arms about the fact that it doesn't have a spare tire, keep in mind that if this is your 79-year-old mom parked on the side of the highway because she's got a flat tire, I promise you she's going to be happy that she's got a pump or roadside assistance, but she's got a tire pump that she can just put on the tire, plug in, and pump it back up and then get to her destination. She's not going to be putting on a spare tire. So the pump that this comes with is a heck of a lot easier to use. That's my argument. I'm sticking with it. Anyway, so when we put the seats down, the total amount of space in here tops about 1,900 liters with the seats down. And one thing I want to show you with the seats that's kind of nice, they actually lock into place here. And then when you want to release them, you simply pull the handle and it bounces up. And it's a nice smooth transition from the rear floor to the seat back. So loading in larger items, assuming you don't have the cargo cover in the way, but loading in larger items is really, really easy. And as you can see, the seats fold down pretty flat, almost perfectly flat, not quite. But yeah, putting it back up, really easy motion, lift and lift, it locks into place. And then it has 13 positions of recline, which I'll show you in a moment as well. Now, talking a bit more about the back end, for one thing, I'd like to point out that it is pretty much tall enough for me to walk under at 6'1". So it goes up pretty high, and that's another thing that not a lot of companies do. Some are really bad at it, and they're like this high. It's crazy. Anyway, this can be adjusted. You can adjust this, hold the button, beeps a couple times, and then it'll always stop there. You know what? That wasn't even up all the way. Check this out. So now it's up all the way. So I'm going to readjust this here. Beeps a couple times. Now it'll always stop at that height. Now, another thing I want to show you, notice where the turn signal is there. Another thing a lot of people get up in arms about is the fact that the turn signals are really, really low, and then the brake lights are up there. So the reason that that's actually not a big deal is because when it's foggy, you're going to be able to see those signals from a much further distance than if they were up here. You got to remember, if it's really foggy and there's an accident, you pull off the side of the road, you put your hazards on, you want those lights to be as low as possible so that they can be seen from a distance. And I'm sorry, but if you can't see those lights because you're too close, that's your problem. That's not the car problem, right? You'd have to be within like 5 feet behind this vehicle to not see those lights if you think they're too low. So you got to stop making the argument that the lights are too low, because they're really not. Every other sedan or whatever is going to have really low lights too, because it's a sedan and people still see them just fine. Anyway, let's check out the back seat and then we'll move on to the front. All right, so I've gone ahead and set up the front seat where I would drive the vehicle. So I'm going to jump in the back here, but in a moment. First off, I want to show you a couple things. You got the sort of the piano black looking thing here. I kind of wish that they would make that a different color, but they've gone with piano black. You got the bottle holder in the door. There are speakers back here, of course. It is a 6-speaker factory system. Nothing too special, but it's fine. You do notice that you have solid seat backs. Each of the seat backs has a net here. And check this out, some nice backlit USB ports. They're not USB-C yet, but at least they're backlit. At least you can see them. But let's jump in. There we go. You'll notice first off, I have really good leg room here. Lots of room in front of my knees, even though I'm 6'1" and a bit. I have lots of space to put my feet under the seat. So this is actually a really, really comfortable place to be. And this seat is actually really far up right now. Check this out. So it locks in there, but I can go 1, 2, 3. Basically, there's 13 separate spots so you can lay that seat back. Look at how far back I am. This one here is obviously not leaned back yet, but there we go. So yeah, I could sleep here pretty easily. Check it out. Look at how much of an angle this is. That's pretty cool. So it kind of lines the door. It's kind of hard to see, I guess, on camera, but a very, very good recline. Now, we do also have a center cup holder armrest here. There's the cup holders there, and you'll notice the armrest doesn't flop down on the seat. It's actually secured in place, and the reason for that is because when the seats are sort of in their natural position, right about there, now the armrest is a fairly similar height to the armrest on the door. So if you're sitting here as a rear seat passenger, put my seat back to normal here, it's kind of the same on both sides. It's not awkward feeling. You also have grab handles in all 4 corners, and each of the rear passengers also has the ability to turn on a little LED light. All right, that's pretty much it back here. Oh yeah, we've also got little vents you can control. Now, it is dual zone climate control, so this vent basically is going to be the same as the driver position. This vent will be the same as the passenger position. All right, before we jump into the vehicle, let's have a quick look at the keys. So this is, you got lock, unlock. You can hold this button here to pop the tailgate. You've got a alarm system, and you've got remote start. So to use the remote start, we're going to hit the lock button first, and then we're going to hold the remote start button until we see the lights flash. There we go, and it fires right up. Now, one thing that's really nice about Hyundai's remote start system is you don't need to get in and then press the button again. So I'm going to unlock the doors, climb in here, and watch the stereo. When I put my foot near the, well, actually I didn't even have to do it. So weirdly, on some of our vehicles you have to push the brake. On this one, I guess it just picked it up and turned on. So didn't have to press any buttons. It just kind of came to life all on its own. All right, so first things first, let's talk about the driver's seat. It is a power driver seat. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8-way adjustable power driver seat. Sorry, 10-way. The passenger seat's just manual. Driver's seat is power. Both seats are heated though, that's nice. And we also have a heated steering wheel. On the left of the dash here, you can see we've got our dimmer switch, another button to open the trunk, and then our traction and stability control. We also have controls for the steering wheel. It is tilt and telescopic, of course. So you can push this one in, there we go. And then just lift that back up to lock it. The turn signal here, you can see we've got the headlights, automatic headlights, and it's even automatic high beams as well. That only works though if you have your headlights in auto as well. So keep that in mind. And it's a one-touch turn signal, so if you tap it, it'll flash on its own 3, 5, or 7 times depending on the settings. Now, one of the nicest things about this interior is the sunroof. Check this out. It has a massive panoramic sunroof and power sunshade. Now you can stop the shade anywhere along the way. You can also open up the glass here, and you can stop it anywhere along the way as well. It doesn't open up all the way. It stops about here. Yeah, there we go. So obviously, you know, this is going over top of the other glass, so it can't go back all the way. But it is very, very wide, so there's quite a bit of space in this direction. And then, of course, it has the little wind blocker in there as well, so you don't get that crazy helicopter noise. But furthermore, looking at the actual dashboard as well, you'll notice that this strip right here actually runs along, kind of merges into the vents. You got right here, you've got the little diffused air coming out of here as well. It's also diffused air all along there as well, which is quite nice. But you'll notice actually that sort of graphic pulls all the way down into the center console. It looks quite nice. It's a really, really beautiful design. Unfortunately, there is a lot more piano black here, so if you do own a Tucson, not a bad idea to have a microfiber cloth stored somewhere in here to wipe it down. So let's talk about some of the features in this vehicle. Well, before I get into all the little buttons and whatnot, one thing to keep in mind is that this one does come with BlueLink. So BlueLink is Hyundai's telematics system. Free for 3 years from your cell phone. You can unlock the doors, lock the doors, find the vehicle on a map. You can remote start the vehicle with features like heated seats and heated steering wheel turned on. You can set it, for specific climate control, temperature, and how long you want to run it for, all that stuff. All that configuration. You can have multiple configurations for the remote start, which is awesome. So not only can you remote start from the key, but also from your cell phone. You can also quickly access diagnostic information from your cell phone about the car as well. And also with the BlueLink system is the remote emergency services. So if you get into an accident, God forbid, airbags deploy, emergency services will be called directly to your location. So all of that is free for 3 years, assuming you sign up for it. So really, really good system. Nice to have. And as far as I know, that's the longest in the industry. Obviously, that's shared with Kia and Genesis as well, other Hyundai products. Okay, so let's go over all of the features as far as the buttons in the cabin. There's quite a few, so let's run through them. So first off, on the steering wheel, we're going to go left to right. So on the steering wheel here, you've got the button for the voice recognition. So I can press that button, find the nearest Walmart.
Please say the line number.
Line 1.
Would you like guidance?
Yes.
To this look? Please proceed to the highlighted route.
Loud.
Then the route guidance will start.
Holy crud. Someone played a joke. That was really loud. All right, so that's turned down now. Yeah, so that was pretty crazy, right? Now, that's the built-in voice recognition, but you can also use this with Siri or, of course, the Google Assistant, assuming your phone is connected. So the question that so many of you are probably asking, screaming at the screen or screaming at your screen right now is, does this have wireless CarPlay, wireless Android Auto? And I believe the answer, unfortunately, is no. However, I am going to quickly try it. So let's hook that up. And the answer is no. It does not have wireless Apple CarPlay, Android Auto yet. Now, I say yet because there is a possibility that this may get the update. I'm just having a quick look here. So this is using the standard class Gen 5 W navigation system. So that is technically not the one that's getting the update to enable wireless Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, unfortunately. So it looks like this vehicle probably won't get it. However, there's a very good chance that it will get it. If they do an update that allows that to function, then it's entirely possible. Now, before you blame Hyundai, you should know that actually it was Apple and Google that had a problem with this map button going to the built-in navigation system. They wanted it to go to their respective maps software. So that's why they basically just said, nope, you can't have it go wireless. Now, it is a really easy fix. There's a number of different products you can get online. They're like $50. Basically, the little dongles are about this big with the cable included. You plug them into the USB port down here, and you kind of stick it underneath here or whatever, using some 3M that it comes with, and then that provides you with wireless Apple CarPlay or wireless Android Auto. It's a really simple device to use. It's super cheap, and it's a simple solution. Anyway, moving on. So the rest of these buttons over here, we have the mode button, which allows you to choose where music is coming from. You got your next preset, previous preset, or next track, previous track, volume, phone answer, and then this is a customizable button right here. So when you choose that the first time, it gives you the option to choose what you want it to do. I usually set that to the home screen, so that there's a quick and easy way to get back to basically this screen if you're within a screen that doesn't have a home button on it. So that's what I set mine up to do anyway. It seems to work well. On the other side of the steering wheel here, we have basically these two buttons that go through this little screen in the middle here, which I'll show you in a moment. But they're basically for navigating that screen. So one kind of goes across the screen that way and kind of loops back. And then this one here kind of cycles between the different sub-menus within the menus that brings you to. This one here is for your lane keeping assistance. So this vehicle is equipped with both lane departure warning system as well as lane keep assist and lane centering. Sorry, this is lane centering. So lane keep assist basically just pinballs off the lines. Lane centering really keeps you centered in the lines. Cool thing with Hyundai though is that you can use lane centering at any time. You don't have to have you don't have to have cruise control turned on. You can use it at any time. Control your gas and brake yourself, and then have lane centering help you control the steering. So that's kind of cool. And then you also have the ability to use adaptive cruise control. So when we set the cruise control, increase, decrease, pause, resume it, and then this one right here will actually adjust the distance that you're following the car in front of you, and it'll go all the way down to a stop and go. So it is a stop and go system. The other nice thing about this button, by the way, so when I press this, it turns on. Let me just zoom in for you here. You'll notice on the bottom left of the screen there's a little steering wheel icon. So that is for the lane centering. I can turn it off and on just by pressing that button. However, I hold that button down, and you'll notice I can turn off lane keep assist as well. So I can do those things with that one button. So that's kind of a nice touch, being able to control both things with the one button. All right, before we get to that other screen there, I want to talk about the window wiper stock. So this basically, when you turn it down, turns on your window wipers, but you'll notice it's actually got the auto thing there as well. And anytime you adjust it, it shows you in the screen exactly what's going on. Yeah, so when you adjust anything in here, whether it be the rear wiper, for instance, there we go, turn that on and off, it's got high, low, or the speed or the aggressiveness of the automatic system, or just what setting you're in, it just pops all of that up on the screen there, which is nice. And then of course you pull that towards you to clean the front window, push it back to clean the rear window. And one thing that's really cool is that if you have the wipers turned on, the front wipers, or if it's automatically moving, the rear wiper is actually automatic, so you don't even need to turn it on necessarily. There's a setting that turns the rear wiper on automatically if your front wipers happen to be on at that time. All right, so let's talk about the little center screen and the instrument cluster here. So first off, obviously you got your speedometer, your engine temperature, your fuel gauge, and your tachometer over there. But I want to talk about this little screen in the center. All right, so if I press that top button, you'll notice it cycles along the top edge of the screen. There's 4 separate menus here. We're going to start with this one on the left. You'll notice we have our basically our drive info. This screen just shows you what's going on with the car, whether it's adaptive cruise control, or if it's picking up that you're leaving your lane or something like that. If I drop it down one, this is our attention level warning. So if your input to the steering is a little bit jerky, or if you're not steering enough and it's helping you steer too often, then it may tell you to consider taking a coffee break. All right, going over to the next menu here, we have our drive info screen. So this is just our trip computer basically, and this resets every time we restart the car, or if we hold the OK button. So that's that up and down button on the steering wheel. If I press it in, it's also an OK button. If I drop it down once, here we go, I'm going to reset this. That's since our refueling, our trip computer average liters per 100K, obviously not 45 liters per 100 kilometers. This is not a jet, nor is it 36.9. This is our accumulated info. So since the last reset, obviously the vehicle has been doing a lot of sitting and idling, which is why the average liters per 100K is so way off. And then we can reset that as well. We got our auto stop timer, and then our digital speedometer. So if you don't like looking at the analog speedometer, you can also look at it digitally. You'll also notice at the top we have 141 kilometers of range till empty. Our destination is in 3.2 kilometers because we still have the navigation system navigating. So if I cancel that, that disappears. And then the bottom right, we have our total accumulated odometer, as well as our 8 degrees Celsius outside air temperature outside. And then you'll see the little A there with the circle around it. That is the auto start stop system. So having a quick look at the center console, the auto start stop you can turn off simply by pressing that button there. But I will say this, Hyundai's auto start stop is pretty not noticeable when it's happening. Yeah, English. Anyway, what it does is as you start to lift off the brake, the engine will kick back on. So it doesn't wait for the brake lights to shut off and then turn the engine on, and it's not waiting for you to completely release the brake. Basically, it's waiting for you to start releasing the brake. So if you're at a stoplight and the engine shuts off and you want the engine to quickly turn back on, even though you're not ready to go, all you need to do is just lift off a little tiny bit, not enough to start moving, but enough to get the engine to kick back on, and it'll kick back on. So it's a pretty good system. And it saves anywhere between 4 to 6% of fuel per year, depending on how often you're driving around the city. Okay, looking at the center console, you can see we have center console storage here. It's not enormous, but it's actually pretty reasonable in space. You can see our buttons here for our heated seats and our heated steering wheel. 3 levels of heated seats and nice bespoke buttons everywhere here. Your e-brake, so you can lift that. The e-brake will set automatically on a hill, and it'll turn itself off automatically if you press the brake and put the vehicle into drive. E-brake will turn off automatically. We have our auto hold button right here, so this will stop the vehicle from moving when you release your foot off the brake if you want. And our button for our backup camera. So let's try out our backup camera just while we're here. You can see we have a beautifully high resolution image, dynamic steering lines, which is awesome. And then there's a couple little options here I'm going to point out. So right on the left hand side here, I can actually change it to a top down view, which is great for backing up to a trailer. You can see we still have that dynamic steering line, which is awesome. So really, really easy to hitch up a trailer with this guy. Also, the screen is wide enough that it has this split screen option. So when your backup camera is on, you can actually still see some of your other apps running on the right-hand side, writing on the right-hand side. That doesn't make any sense. Also, for instance, the compass is customizable, by the way. But yeah, so that's pretty cool. That's the backup camera. And then looking above that, there's our auto start stop. We got our hill descent assist button right here. So that's going to basically up to 40 kilometers an hour. It's going to maintain your descent speed when you take your foot off the brake. These two here are connected. So you have our drive mode button. So if I quickly move you up to this screen here and zoom in a little bit, you'll notice we have drive and terrain. So I press that button. It allows me to switch from drive modes. Using the toggle right next to it, I can go to the different drive modes. We have Eco for some fuel savings. Normal is normal. Sport tightens up the steering wheel, gives you a little bit more low-end kick. And then Smart mode kind of adjusts everything automatically depending on how you're driving. But notice the outer edges of the instrument cluster actually change depending on the setting that you're in. So that's pretty cool. So there's green. And then, of course, normal is going to be blue. Smart's going to be blue as well. But Sport's going to be red and exciting. And then Smart, yeah, same as normal. So pretty cool. And then to switch to terrain modes, I'm going to press the drive terrain button. And then there we have our snow, mud, and sand. So the snow, mud, and sand mode actually vary the center differential lock a little bit. And I say vary because it's not locking in 100% all the time necessarily. In snow mode, it does. It's kind of 50-50 front and rear. But sand and mud mode, sometimes it's better to have a bit more power going to the front than it is to the rear. So it's a clutch pack, so it releases, and yeah, it's a pretty good system. It's designed and engineered in Canada and Austria by a company called Magna International. So really, really good system. It's called H-Track. It's also able to dynamically shift power from left to right. If one of the wheels starts slipping, it can clamp down on the wheel, transfer power to the other side. It's pretty good that way. Also, going around corners at higher speeds, it'll send some power to the rear wheels as well. Kind of mitigates all that automatically, and it's a predictive system. So when you put the vehicle into drive, even with the center differential unlocked, so if you're just in regular, normal, sport, whatever mode, you'll start off with all-wheel drive, and as you build speed, it kind of tapers off to go front-wheel drive. And then, of course, if it detects, the road is a little bit slippery or whatever, then it automatically enables some all-wheel drive again. It's a really, really good dynamic system. All right. Looking above that, of course, we have our shifter here with manual mode. So when it's in drive, you can move the whole shift stick to the left and then shift gears manually. And it does show you which gear you're in the top left corner there. Just to see, we got second gear. Now it's in first gear. So that's the the manual mode. A little storage compartment here, a couple more backlit USB ports, again just with the USB-A's still. You have 12-volt outlet there, and then looking a little bit above that, you can see we have our very shiny it should be matte, gloss black instrument cluster, climate control system. But there is a couple of really cool things with the climate control system. Like I can see myself. First, it has 3 levels of automatic. So you notice the fan speed there changed when I put it into level 3. And that's because in the varying levels, like if you don't want the air blasting on you, you could just put the auto down to a lower setting, but not have to worry about it no longer being automatic. So, in the old days, we would adjust the fan speed here, but then it would just stay at that fan speed constantly. With automatic, it automatically adjusts the fan speed and then the heater or the air conditioning system to get to your desired temperature. So I always recommend to my clients, set the temperature to something you like and then leave it, set it, forget it. One downside is that they have the diffuse button, which is actually an upside, but the downside is it disables auto. I wish they would keep that. One thing I really like about Hyundais is when I drive through a tunnel or pull on the windshield washer fluid. Check this out. Here's our recirc. It just came on automatically because I turned on the washer. See this? Activate upon washer fluid use and activate upon entering tunnel. So you don't have to smell the washer fluid or the tunnel. That's a little bit of a nice little luxury touch. Something you won't find in a lot of other vehicles. So that's pretty cool. By the way, the touch-sensitive buttons actually work very, very well. They're very responsive. I don't think you're going to really have any problem with it. But again, these are things that you shouldn't really need to touch too often because once you've set your temperature, you can just kind of leave it and it'll do everything else on its own. All right, we're going to skip the center screen for the moment and look up at the center console headliner thing. So we have LED lights up here as well. Those, of course, come on when you open the doors. We have our buttons for our BlueLink system. So we have call for roadside assistance and call for emergency assistance. We have the lights for the various passenger seat belts and the passenger airbag. Light to turn on all the lights when you open the door, or button rather, and then button to turn on all the lights everywhere all the time. Controls for the sunroof are there. And then the sun visors both have mirrors. They both have lights and they both slide. So that's good. Now, one thing I didn't mention at all was about the seating, the material. So this is using not real leather, it's leatherette, but it's really, really good leatherette. That's one thing that you can't really fault Hyundai on is their leatherette interiors. Even going back 15 years, if you look at an old Hyundai, you know, they may have the typical like cracks in the leatherette and whatnot, but they generally aren't going to be cracked to the point where they're broken. So I have a 2007 Hummer H3. I'm going to use that as an example. The leather on the side of the seat, right where you get in and out, is cracking and chipping. And I've seen lots of older, you know, mid-2000s Hyundais with leather interiors, leatherette interiors, and they still look really, really good. I mean, they don't look new, but they look fine for what they are. So don't be too concerned about the leatherette material. It's quite good. Also, it has the nice perforation holes in there as well, and it feels really, really good as well. If you're looking for a full leather interior, you generally have to go with a bit more of a luxurious vehicle, something like a Santa Fe Calligraphy or a Palisade Calligraphy or a Sonata Calligraphy or Ultimate. Those actually have real leather. Generally, the lower trims don't. So, but maybe you don't like real leather. I can understand that as well. All right, let's talk about the screen here. Now, I'm not going to go too far into depth about the screen because, quite frankly, it hasn't changed in the last couple of years anyway. So if you're looking at this vehicle and you've seen some video reviews from 2023 models, it's going to be basically the same, but I will run through the different applications here real quick. So starting with the map, let's go into the map screen. You'll notice we have split screen open at the moment, but if I tap this little button, it goes full screen, which is nice. I can orient it in sort of a three-dimensional view here. And then, of course, I can use pinch and zoom and finger to move around. So pretty responsive, decent system. Use Apple CarPlay or Android Auto for a better navigation experience, although that one is quite good. It's award-winning. Lots of people like using it. In the navigation menu, that's where you can type in an address or find a safe place or a nearby point of interest, etc. Phone obviously will access your phone's contacts and show you them on the screen. Phone projection is just for Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. Voice memos where you can record your own voice playback later. Climate screen, this is interesting. So this will show you what's going on with the climate system, but it's not actually configurable from here. You have to do all of the stuff down there, and then it shows you up here what it's doing. However, your climate settings, this is a quick way to get to your climate settings. So you got auto dehumidify, defog, defrost, auto defog, all of that's turned on, and then our recirculation settings. Up here, if you see this little menu, it doesn't matter what screen you're in, if you see that, you can actually hit user manual on web, and it'll give you the ability to scan a QR code to access the manual and take it directly to whatever it is you're looking at, you know, part of the manual. It's pretty cool. All right, valet mode is if you have BlueLink enabled, you can actually hand the keys over to a valet and you can lock out the vehicle's, your personal information. It also restricts access to some of the capabilities of the vehicle as well. Quiet mode will shut off the rear speakers yeah, shut off the rear speakers, and it'll give you a maximum front speaker volume. So if you got kids sleeping in the back, you can make the car a little quieter for them. HD radio data, this one's fun. We have quick access to traffic in the area. So there you can see we got some traffic in the area. Our Doppler radar will show you where it's raining. So basically anywhere it's green, there's a little bit of light rain. Now this is going to be pretty narrow depending on where you live. You might not even be on the map. You can't move this side to side because this information is provided by an HD radio source. We can only get what we can get. So fuel prices, this one's awesome. If you're looking for some cheap fuel, keep in mind this vehicle only takes regular. So if we look at the left side here, here's a cheap one at $1.54 per liter. If I hit go, it puts that spot on the navigation system for me. I can go set as destination. I can go start guidance.
Please proceed to the highlighted route.
There we go.
Then the route guidance will start.
By the way, if you want, you can also view your turn-by-turn directions on this screen as well. So there we go. It has that that option. So that's all set up. And cancel that. All right. And what else we got in here? We got radio. So in the radio screen, you have AM, FM, and Sirius XM satellite radio. You can put any presets in here, whether they are Sirius XM or FM or AM. You can put them all in the same list. Option to have HD radio is right there. To navigate through the different radio stations, you can either use these buttons, or you can use Seek and Track, or you can simply just type out the channel that you want to listen to. You can also 99.3 FM.
Now listening.
Use voice recognition to go to the station that you want to go to. So that's kind of cool. All right, going to the media button here, this basically will give you the option to choose the source of music. And you'll notice we have Sounds of Nature. So Sounds of Nature is kind of hilarious. It's nature sounds with a little bit of music thrown in, kind of a calming sort of thing. Yeah, we're going to turn that down. I don't want to hear that. So weird, whatever, it's there. Okay, so that's media. Setup we'll go back to in a moment here. Blue Link notifications and user manual. None of these, sorry, these two are both for Blue Link. The user manual just gives you that QR code again, but it'll take you to the main page of the user manual. Notifications is Blue Link notifications, and Blue Link just tells you a little bit about the Blue Link app, modem, that sort of thing. All right, so let's go to setup. And then in setup, there's lots of stuff. So you have your vehicle settings right here. This is where you can kind of go through and customize, you know, whether or not you want to have the speed limit warning or even speed limit assist. It can actually make it so that the vehicle, you know, stops accelerating once you hit a certain speed. So if you put it at like plus or minus 10 kilometers an hour, the forward-facing camera will actually pick up the speed limits from the signs on the road, and then the car will automatically adjust accordingly to those speeds. It'll prevent you from speeding if you have the speed limit assist on. I have yet to meet anyone who wants to use that, but you do have a speed limit warning, which is basically the speed limit on your instrument cluster turning red. So that's what that is. So yeah, lots of cool stuff in there. Again, not going to go crazy getting into that. We have the quick option to, for instance, under lights, we can change our one-touch turn signal. We'll put that on 5 flashes. There's our headlight delay and high beam assist. Here's where you can enable and disable the smart power lift gate. And then under convenience, we have our rear occupant alert. So rear occupant alert will basically remember if you opened up the rear doors and then remind you to check the rear seats when you shut the car off. Here's also the auto rear wiper option, so we'll turn that on as well. All right, so for more settings, we have the navigation settings here. Sound settings are kind of cool. Check this out. We have our startup volume limit and speed-dependent control, so that's cool. We also have radio noise, so it can actually filter out static and stuff from FM radio. And then, of course, position, where the audio is coming from, and then tone, like bass, treble, mid-range. And then we have settings for, here's our device connections for like Bluetooth and stuff, our user profile, so you can have multiple profiles set up so that it remembers your presets, your dashboard lighting level, that sort of thing. We can change some things on the screen layout, so here's our cluster 3 theme selection. So that's if you want to have a slightly different looking instrument cluster screen, that's all that is. We have screen saver, which is just a digital clock. If you shut the screen off by holding the power button, now we have a digital clock there. And then we have our split screen settings, so that was just everything that was coming up on the right-hand side there. We also have display settings here, so you can see we have our screen adjustment, brightness adjustment, which I should have turned up earlier for this video, but forgot. We have a blue light filter, so after a certain time of day or when it gets dark, it'll automatically turn on the blue light filter, and that filters out blue light, so you don't get too much light strain at night. So that's kind of cool. Here's where we can control what these customized buttons do. So this one here, for instance, if I go to button, that's the button it's talking about here when I change the setting for this custom navigation button. So I usually put that on phone projection, so a quick way to get back into Apple CarPlay and Android Auto now would be to press that button. Blue Link settings, and then general is where we can change things like language, date, time, and we can do firmware updates from here as well using a USB stick. Free updates on the system for life. And that's pretty much it. So on top of that, of course, you get your 5-year, 100,000 kilometer warranty from Hyundai, 3 months free Sirius XM satellite radio, and as I mentioned before, 3 years of Blue Link. But yeah, really, really nice car. I'm going to leave you guys with that. If you have any questions or comments, don't forget to leave comments below. If you have any suggestions for future vehicles that you want to have reviews of, let me know. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Again, can't say it enough. I really, really need the subscribers, guys. I'm trying to build the channel. It's slow going, but I do know that there's a lot of good content in these videos for people who are buying these vehicles. Maybe a little bit boring, but at the same time, there's a ton of content and a ton of information. Anyway, thank you so much for getting to this point. I appreciate it very much. Again, have a happy new year. Have a great day. Until next time.